represented the country with distinction for just about a decade. He has a Caribbean title to his name and is currently coaching in the United States. Now, we will also be joined by former FIFA referee and past JFF referees instructor, Victor Stewart, to talk about some of those controversial, or at least one controversial refereeing decision that we want to discuss. But for now, though, we engage with Davian. Davian, how you doing, boss?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Now, there was a game today, we'll get to that, where Canada became the first team to advance to the round of 16 with a hard-fought win, you could call it, against South Africa. That we will save for a little bit later on. But yesterday, Lionel Messi broke the record for scoring in the most consecutive World Cup games. That was 7. His excellent free kick against Jordan in that Argentine 3-1 win. Messi came on the field as a 60th minute substitute. With him start, him scoring. With him come on, he still scored. We'll just have a look at that. Coach, that 3-1 victory, Argentina over Jordan. Is Argentina now looking more and more like the team to beat?
When you look at the starting 11, they rested 10 players from their regular starting team, and it was still a straightforward result for them. So that shows strength in depth. They have quality, they have players running into form at the right time. You have people like Lo Celso who came in, got a goal. Alvarez played almost 90 minutes of football now. So heading into the playoff round, it is very important that they have these players in key moments actually getting the business done. And then they have the little magician, Lionel Messi, who came on, and with half an hour to go, he found the net. And that's the quality of the player, but overall the quality of the team that they have. And I think they're serious contenders.
Yeah. All right, so we get Tyrone Marshall's original or initial views on that Argentina game. Tyrone, 3-1. Argentina were not necessarily seen as raging favourites at the beginning. I think France and Spain were the bookies' favourites at the start. But this Argentine team, Tyrone, they are looking more and more ominous, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. Good night, gentlemen. Yeah, you know, the Argentine, I mean, they seem to be gathering momentum as the tournament goes on. And you know, it's important, like Coach mentioned, you know, the supporting cast has stepped up. You know, they got the opportunity and they stepped up and they showed, you know, quality when they had the opportunity. So for me, it's definitely, you know, someone to look out for, the Argentine. You know, they'll sneak up on you. Now everyone started paying attention to what's going on there. So, yeah, I thought really workmanlike performance from them, and they took care of business. And like you mentioned, Messi came on, scored and broke the record, and went about their business and looking to go on to the next stage.
Argentina conceding a goal for the first time, Coach. First time in this tournament, they had clean sheets in the 2 previous games. Would that be worrying that a liquor side like Jordan score upon the champions? If you were the Argentine coach, would that be a slightly concerning sign?
Yeah, it's always a concern when you concede a goal, but I think if you look at the run of the game and not the run of the play, ball down the channel, ball in behind, I think there was some miscommunication between the defenders in terms of who picked who and denial of the cross, which didn't happen. And these things happen when there are a lot of changes within a team. Sometimes the technical fluency is not there. But I think all in all, it was really good from them in terms of how they came back, even after conceding that goal, to really create a daylight between them and Jordan.
Yeah. Tyrone, Messi now has scored in 7 consecutive games. Many people felt that he would have sat out that game against Jordan completely and save his legs for bigger assignments down the road. The fact that he played at all, when he came on, Argentina were already up to 1. That in itself, is it surprising to you, Tyrone?
No, I don't think it's surprising. I think you have to understand, you know, especially Messi being the age that he is, you need to keep him in rhythm. And so you don't want to necessarily, you know, give him too many games off. I thought the coach managed him really well. Giving him 30 minutes is like a practice session for him, right? So he gets that rhythm, his body's in that constant cycle. So then once he gets to the next game, you know, it's not going to be a shock to him, right? So I think it's a really good management by the Argentine staff, coaching staff, to keep him involved and keep him in a good rhythm.
Here's what I'm going to ask you, Coach Davian. I think Messi's first 19 games in World Cup football. he would have scored maybe about half a dozen goals. He's now scoring a goal a game on average. Last 7 games he scored in all of them. What is the difference between Lionel Messi in between the last World Cup and the first 3 games here in terms of goal scoring and the Lionel Messi prior to that?
I think from my vantage point, he had a lot of pressure on him in terms of the whole nation, the whole world was actually questioning his status as the greatest of all times. So that pressure was enormous. I think once he started to get Argentina really close to the finish line, and when he eventually got over the finish line, I think that released some amount of pressure from him, and it has been just fluency from him since. The quality of the player is undoubted. The pressure, though, I think initially was a little bit too much. And I think once he gotten past that
So you're
pressure,
saying it's the pressure on him why he wasn't scoring as many goals in the first part of his World Cup career?
yeah, in the initial stages when people said that he must win a World Cup to be proven as one of the greatest players, I think that pressure got to him.
Yeah.
And I think his supporting cast and what the Argentine national team were doing from a technical standpoint didn't really suit him. But I think once they fix all of those cultural issues and the pressure of getting over the line, I think once that was done, easy squeezy from him.
Easy squeezy. Let me ask you that same question, Tyrone. What's the difference you see in Messi, say in his last 8 or 9 World Cup games to the Messi prior to that?
I think Coach hit it on the head where, the pressure, initial pressure is off of him now because I think winning the World Cup also, the supporting cast understand what Messi's about as well, that they have to work for him. And I think initially, they wanted to, put the limelight on him, so to speak. And like Coach mentioned, the pressure, a lot of that pressure, kind of led to some of the demise, right? But now that he's got over that initial part of winning the World Cup, and now you see it, he aging, like fine wine, right? I think he gets better with age, and he's showing the quality in front of goals. He's been really, really efficient inside the box. So, there's kudos to him in terms of what the team and the structure is about.
All right. I don't know if you have discussed it on stage before or on set before we look at the Nigeria game in just a bit. Oh, the Algeria-Austria game. But one quick comment from you, Coach, is where is Messi on the GOAT list for you now?
That's a big one. I think he's definitely up there.
Up there, all right.
But what I've always said to people is that for me as a football person, you have people who define different eras. So the people who came before him who defined those eras, they're all great players. And I think he defined this era.
All right, I think the coach is being very politically correct. Don't believe your coach. Tyrone, I'll ask you that in 30 seconds because I have to move on.
Yeah.
Has Messi erased all doubts about his GOAT status, or how you see?
Yeah, I think, like Coach mentioned, Jordan back in the 80s, each era you have the GOAT, right? And I think Messi, this era is his era because Pele before Maradona, and now, I think Messi.
All right, so neither of my analysts are prepared to say he's the GOAT of all time. All right, so there was another game that was played yesterday that ended in a 3-3 draw between Algeria and Austria. A game that, by the way, eliminated Iran. I think Algeria were leading 3-2. And if the scoreline had stayed that way, then Iran would have managed to squeeze in. As it turned out, Austria scored in the very, very last seconds. Then the referee go, game done. Iran is out. And I think we could touch on the fact that Iran had to play the game in the USA and then fly gun all the way back over to Mexico. The American government wouldn't allow them to stay in the United States. Now, don't get me started on what that means. Let us talk strictly about the football. That 3-3 game, Algeria-Austria, Coach Ferguson, eliminated Iran. It was a 3-3 game. Nice in terms of goals. It was very entertaining. But you're the expert. Your thoughts on that game?
I think at 2-2, both teams were really comfortable playing for the draw. Because it would have suited both of them. But I think when Mahrez scored in the 95th minute, and I listened to that interview this morning with Mahrez, and he said he had to respect the game because the chance came to him one-on-one with the goalkeeper, so he had to finish. And in a blink of an eye, there's a goal in the 96th minute, and parity was restored. So I think it was a game which both of them, in my mind, decided the outcome before the game.
Yeah, it reminds me of that game, that last game in the 98 campaign when Mexico came to Jamaica. Now there's a rumor that 0-0 would have ensured that both teams advance. Now the rumor is, can't tell it whether it's true or not, that Mexico say, you don't score, I don't score. We're good. Now we don't know if it's true, but as you said, if the score had stayed at 2-2, both teams had advanced, but Algeria spoiled the party. Tyrone, what's your thoughts on that game, and how do you think that those two teams deserve to have gone through?
Yeah, look, I thought, like Coach mentioned, 2-2, everyone kind of thought it was in the bag, but at the end of the day, you got to respect the game. You got to play 90 minutes. And like Coach mentioned, Mahrez had the opportunity and had to put it away. And then it went to 3-3, right? But yeah, I thought both teams, Iran, there's a lot of, baggage behind there, a lot of controversy in terms of, facilitating their accommodation, all these things that were going on. So, it has happened where things fall in place for them. And I thought, both teams got the fair result and, they end up moving, going back home, and the right teams went on, in that situation.
All right, yeah, there were people who were saying before the game, if these two teams only need a draw to go through, didn't quite work out quite like that. But we touch on that Iran situation. Can Iran cry foul, Coach? Not only the fact that it was a last-minute goal that eliminated them, but that they couldn't stay in the World Cup in the country that they played. They had to jet back after every game because of the political differences between Iran and the USA. Can they feel hard done by?
I'll list 3 incidents that Iran would have made cry about in the last 48 hours. That game against Egypt, which they drew, and then...
That was the one with the man with the size shoes determining the offside? Yeah, we'll get to that.
So that game, plus the travel issue, and then last night games with Algeria and Austria. So there are a lot of things that happen that they can cry for. Like the travel issue for me personally, as I said, it affects the rhythm and the logistics of a team when you have to move from points to point, especially over a long distance. Normally, in any country you're going to play a game, you're normally flying at least 2 days before because you want to have that acclimatization and that relaxation. So for them, it's not ideal, but I don't know what the situation is in terms of that.
Coach, I'm even understanding, Coach Tyrone, that is, I understand that they weren't even allowed to, what you coach call it, to warm down. So after the game, they were flown out of the place immediately after the game because the US government decided that you can't stay within this country. No, I don't want to get political, and I don't want to get in problems with my producer because he hasn't asked me to go into this. But your thoughts on this, Tyrone?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation, obviously. I'm living here in the United States, and I know the tension of what's going on in Iran and everything. And it's unfortunate, like you said, hopefully the beautiful game could have brought, a little bit of calm in this period that they were here in the U.S. And at the end of the day, it's football, right? But things happen where, it's unfortunate that they have to leave right after the games and you're flying to a different country. It's not like you're flying from here to another state. It's a different country. So the travel and everything does take a toll, and, the lack of, I guess getting to, feel settled, it plays a big part, in the mindset. And they were always on edge. And that I could say they definitely have some type of a quarrel with FIFA at the end of the day, with everything that was going on.
All right, so those were the games that were played before today. Now, today, we saw where the competition now, I know a lot of people who feel that the competition started today. Win or Ghana, And we saw Canada taking on Bafana. And I just learned a few minutes ago what Bafana mean. I thought there was some boasting something about the name. It simply means the boys. The South Africans against Canada. Canada, I thought, were more likely to win, but they were made to work really hard for that 1-0 win against, I would say, a spirited South African side. But Coach, how did you see it?
Yeah, another issue for Canada coming into this one as a host, which they complain about is that they had to travel, being a host to another country for this game. So they had that complaint also. But I think they had the benefit of coming in at least a few days before.
Right.
But when you look at South Africa and how they started the World Cup campaign against Mexico, not many people had them to reach this far in terms of around a 32 game. And I think they have improved steadily over time. Today when you watch them, the keeper, William, stood out for me in terms of his ability to play with the ball. And then you had qualities in terms of players who had good technical abilities to play. But I think what they lack is that final turn, penetration. Canada, again, they had the momentum, they had the chances. Eustacia, who scored that goal, even before that, he created 2 chances from set pieces, which were not taken. But he was instrumental in everything good going forward for Canada today.
Yeah. Tyrone, were you happy with the way Canada looked in the game against Colombia? Or you thought it's flukes why them beat that Colombian team? Not Colombian, that South African team.
Yeah, well, no, I thought the Canadian that coach mentioned today, I thought in all 4 phases plus the set piece phase, they looked pretty, pretty good, pretty solid, I would say, especially in the transition moment, right, from attack to from defense to attack. Really, really clever going forward. And like coach mentioned, it's Suyan, very good on set pieces, delivery. So for the most part, I thought, they showed up today. And another key, I thought, for the Canadians is having, Davis, Alfonso coming on the pitch. That's a good sign for them moving forward. Obviously, getting the results is also a big thing for them to move on. But overall, I thought the Canadians did what they had to do, which is, put away the team, South African team that, came in with a valiant effort.
I was a little surprised when Alfonso Davis didn't start, but I'm not a coach. If he's fit enough to play, I'm saying why isn't he fit enough to start? Easily Canada's best player, but what do I know? We take our first break here on Fan Central Extra Time. Don't go nowhere at all. We soon come back.
When the la go net fi full up, match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. No bandwagon to the thing, no bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty.
The greatest show on earth is here, and Fan Central goes into extra time for 39 days right throughout FIFA's Showpiece tournament. With a Pepsi in hand, of course. Catch the playbook with a tactical breakdown from our expert coaches. Come sit in our fan corner where you have your say on the day's action. Fame or shame, who are the best or worst players of the day? And have a laugh as we share some of the best reactions on social media. After the final whistle, it's extra time. Fan Central Extra Time. 8 p.m. daily with 10 p.m. shows on select days where there are 8 p.m. match kickoffs.
Fan Central Extra Time is brought to you by the Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football, better with Pepsi.
Turn up to 25. Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. I touch a million cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
I am Candy Pang.
Watagwan.
Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
bad team, not a illy-billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty-gritty. School them, silly billy. Now bother tell me about your team and them to make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV.
Welcome back to Fan Central Extra Time. Now, earlier, Coach Davian Ferguson mentioned that there were 3 incidents that the Iranian team must be saying. I was going to say they were saying, Jesus Christ, we're sad. But I don't think they worship the way we worship. But this whole case with traveling, we heard about that. That last-minute goal by Austria against Algeria knocked them out. But maybe the most difficult one to accept if you are an Iran supporter was that offside goal against Egypt. Now, Iran, had they got that goal, they would be 2-1 up and they would have advanced. 93rd minute, 1-1, them get this goal, or what many people think should be a goal, and then VAR decided that somebody's big toe was over the line. Now, granted, people, and I'm going to ask Victor Stewart that when he comes on, there is no line, you know. There's no actual line. Victor, we're coming. It is a line that is, what's the word? Semi-automated, drawn on the field, one big toe. Sir Victor Stewart, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Happy to be here, man.
Well, Victor, when you saw that offside call against Iran and the goal that they should have got, I realized that if the man had worn a smaller size shoes, Iran gone through to the next round.
Arfin big toe is small.
Arfin big toe, they look a bit like that. It happened to Colombia as well. What do you make of VAR's rather strict interpretation of the offside rule as a former FIFA referee yourself?
It begs for questioning because the on-field call. All right, VAR operates on a strict protocol. Offside is a factual review. Either you are offside or you are not. And offside means you are closer to the opponent's goal line than the second last opponent and or the ball. Any part of your body that protrudes beyond the second last opponent that can score a goal legally is considered to be offside. Only your hand is allowed because you can't score a goal legally with your hand. Mm-hmm. So the big toe and the little toe concept is still there. But what baffles me is that in these 2 cases, especially the Colombia-Portugal case, how could the human eye detect that in the first place? And we spoke earlier today, Arville, and we spoke about cricket and the umpire's review.
Yeah.
I put it to you that if that assistant referee did not go up with that flag at that moment, then VAR would not have intervened and the goal would have stand. But because the flag went up, VAR did intervene, and so they found that line, which you and I, we did geometry at school. It's not an actual line on the field of play.
No.
The size of players, etc., it baffles us in TV land viewing.
Yeah.
But my view on that, if it was not called, then the goal would have stand.
That assistant referee, who in the cut and thrust of a high-profile, high-quality game, from maybe 40 yards away, who realized that this man big toe, 1 inch, that man deserves a very special award for his eyes, I can tell you that. That man is a special
He's
person.
good.
We need to find out how many carrots that man eat every morning. But by the strictest of interpretation, Victor, it was offside. But why so strict though? Is there a balance that can be found where, you don't want to make it as ridiculous as that, but you still want offside to be offside? Is there some kind of middle ground that we could look for?
All right, so for years, ever since the inception of the laws, the law 11 has been the most debatable and most controversial law, offside or no offside. You either being in the offside position doesn't make it an offense. It's what you do having been in that position. Mm-hmm. The latest I've heard, there were some talks last year. In fact, let me go further. In my days as a young referee, anywhere on the field you are behind the line of defense, closer to the goal line, you are considered to be offside. Now we have moved to interference. Either you interfere with play that is playing the ball, or you interfere with an opponent by challenging, or you gain an advantage by being in that position. Now, the latest I have heard is that FIFA is experimenting with the idea that your entire body must be ahead of the second last opponent. And they will, I think they are putting that into practice in lower stage competition before it is actually embedded in the law. That's the common law, because that's the common line we can draw, because it's a very thin line in normal active play. And if you take football out of the World Cup and put it into our Premier League and local situation where we don't have VAR, you can imagine the pressure for our assistant referees at the local level without VAR.
Nobody would, very few referees would call offside for that outside of VAR. I agree.
I agree with you.
But let me ask you this one, Victor. That line that is semi-automated, it's not my term, it's Coach Ferguson tell me that is so them call it. That is not an actual line on a football field.
Well, I call it AI generated.
That is generated. How do we know that after the linesman goes a boom and say offside, that there aren't people in that VAR room that can run that line and how them feel like run it to ensure that the assistant referee? How do we know that what you call it now, that the line is straight from that side of the field to this side, or it can be adjusted in the room so we see it on TV as a line? I'm not sure I'm asking the question right, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, we all do geometry in school, so
there you go.
And the angle, a 90-degree angle. But one of the things that we need to consider in terms of the line drawing, possession. If he receive the ball having last play by his teammate at the moment he touches the ball, at the moment. Now, when we see that line, the teammate make contact with the ball to make the pass over the that's altered and generated. I have had personal experience to turn.
No, Victor, your sound is in and out, Victor. We want to hear every word. I don't know if you can get closer to the mouthpiece or whatever it is.
All right.
All right, speak again, Victor.
All right. So I mentioned.
Right.
So the player is considered to be in an offside position at the moment his teammate play the ball.
Right.
So I am playing the ball. The moment I make contact, that touch point, if my teammate is is behind the defense line, then I'm in an offside position. No, the line, what I can say, and I'm not sure if it is actually what is happening there, was the line considered at the moment the teammate played the ball, or after the player actually headed the ball into the goal? So that's a point to consider, Arvil. As you say, how is that line generated? When is that line generated?
There you go.
And at what point? And
irrespective of what point in time, but that last man who made the pass or the time when the final player ran into position, we don't know if that line is actually plumb. Is plumb the word where you use that it is an exact square, or it can twist either way. Now, I may be just a conspiracy theorist, but I would, were I a coach, I would want to send somebody, both coaches in that VAR room, to see how that line is created and generated. But when it close like
let me speak a little on VAR.
Yes.
VAR will only intervene if it is a clear and obvious mistake by the referee. Repeat, if it is a clear and obvious mistake. In this case, the assistant referee flagged for offside. We in TV land watching could not see that offside. And as you quite rightly say, that referee have to have not even 20/20 vision, but some multiples of 20/20 vision to see that big toe.
Yeah.
So when VAR do intervene, VAR actually found out that, okay, there was a big toe ahead. So the VAR will support the assistant referee decision in that case. The reverse is also true. If the assistant referee had flag down, which is no offside, then there will be no VAR. And I put it to you that in this case, based on the modern teaching, how we teach our referee here in CONCACAF, when it is that close that you need a microscope to see, we advise flag down.
Okay.
And I want to think, Arville, that if there was a flag down, then the goal would have stand.
All right.
As in the case of the cricket analogy, where the umpire decision.
Yeah, unless it's a hole up. Then you
unless it is clear.
You go with it. Unless it's a clear and obvious error, you go with the referee. I think that suggestion that you made, Victor, that you said FIFA is considering, where there is some daylight between the attacker and the defender, where but brother, I'm a big two over here, so that come on.
You remember 2022, the opening game with Qatar and Ecuador, with just the socks. In that case, it was the color of the socks that decided. You remember that game, Tyrone?
No, man, yeah. I remember exactly. Yeah.
Victor, so we have to leave it at that, my boss, but there are times when what is right must also make sense. We want the referees and the assistant and VAR to get the offside call, right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes common sense should prevail. A big toe. Come on now, man.
All right. I want to mention another word versus common sense. It is called football understanding.
All right. So
in this case, Arville, as a football pundit, as the 7.5 billion people living in this world watching this, what do you think they would have wanted?
Goal.
Yeah.
Football understanding. The public would accept a goal.
Except for the people.
Because it is that close.
Except for the people in Egypt.
And in this case, Portugal.
Oh, yeah, Portugal one. Yeah.
Egypt or Portugal. But football understanding and the human error.
All right. Big up yourself, Sir Victor Stewart, former FIFA referee. Thanks for your input. Granny Marshall, I hear you in the background humming. We have to run for the break in 10 seconds. Say something. You like it or you don't like it?
Don't like it.
Don't like it. All right.
Yeah.
We're coming right back after the break.
Silly Billy. Nobody tell me about your team and them to make the semi. Game sweet, girl, I call it Sugar Daddy. CVM TV, for everybody.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer. Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. I touch a million cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up for Switch to Postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer. Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
All right then, so as you would have heard earlier, it is now at the stage of the round of 32. We have one game, or we have had one game in the round of 32 with Canada beating South Africa. Now there was never a round of 32 before, because the only reason why you're now down to a round of 32 is because you started with 48 teams. So previous tournaments, you may have started with 32 teams and so on. We will now take a look at who will play who in the next round. And then we'll have both our coaches, both Tyrone and Davian, to analyze what they think will happen in these respective games. All right, so Coach, you want to take this and look at where this is? Yeah, Davian, go at this and explain what all of this means.
All right, so
Yeah.
So as you rightfully said, this is the round of 32. This is where the World Cup normally starts for a very long while. So now we're at 32 because we had 48 as a start. We had the first game today of that round of 32 where we had Canada defeating South Africa by a goal to nil. But if you look at the top of the bracket, you have Germany versus Paraguay, who most people would consider Germany to be the favorite in that one. And next you have France versus Sweden. Again, the French team is considered to be the favorite there. So in those two matches, I don't see any surprises in those two matches.
All right, let me bring in Tyrone now. Tyrone, do you agree? Let's take the first two, Germany versus Paraguay and France versus Sweden. Any surprises there, or you expect the top dogs to go through?
Yeah, I expect the top guys to go through. Germany definitely over Paraguay. I think the Germans got a wake up call, so to speak. Sorry. Yeah. So that they'll be coming out flying. And I like I said, France for me is a favorite in my eyes. I think they're the team to beat.
All right, the other two, Davian.
Yeah, as we said, we had Canada today defeating South Africa. The next game for me is a very interesting one, Arbil. Morocco versus Netherlands.
Yeah.
People have Netherlands in this one as the favorite. For me, it's a 50-50 call. This game is going to be a very tight one. I think the Dutch team have goal in them, but Morocco is a very stout team defensively, and they can find the odd goal. So I think this one will be very tight. But personally, I'm leaning to the Moroccans on this one.
You agree, Tyrone, or you think Netherlands are going to squeeze them one easy tool of in this game?
No, Coach, I think we might be on the same page here now. I don't know what's going on here, but I had Morocco coming into the tournament as a dark horse. Everybody said, no, that's not a dark horse because it went, to the semis. But, I think not a lot of people thought they would, be a power coming in. And so I had Morocco going into the final four. So, yeah, I think Morocco will get by Netherlands.
Interesting. And the other one is Portugal versus
Croatia.
Another
tricky game. Portugal has a lot of talent. For me, a golden generation, if you ask me. But I don't think they have found it just yet. They played a good game last night against Colombia, but I think Colombia dominated them. Croatia, again, another team who can upset them. This one is going to be very tight, but I'm somewhat leaning to Portugal in this one. But I'm not surprised if Croatia actually.
All right, leaning to Portugal, but wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way. Tyrone will Ronaldo score yet another goal and lead his team to an easy win, or this is where his World Cup journey ends?
I think this is where his journey will end, unfortunately. Like Coach mentioned, I think it would be a really tight game. I think it will go to penalty kicks, and I think the Croatian will come up victorious on the penalties.
On penalties. All right, Coach. Take the other three, Coach, as a block.
So you have Spain versus Austria. I think Spain should win that. I think Spain is also one of the favorites for the World Cup. USA versus Bosnia. USA should win that one. They're on a high. And then the last one on this side of the bracket, Belgium versus Senegal. Again, I'm not too impressed with the Belgian team. They're the favorite, but I have Senegal winning this one.
All right, give me those three quickly, Tyrone. Do you agree with those three?
I agree. Bosnia, not a challenge for the USA. I think the USA will come out flying, using the momentum of the crowd, home field. I think Spain would take care of Austria, and I think the Belgians they run out to sea. I think Senegal will kind of prevail in this one.
We can have one difference with the two experts.
Yeah.
Belgium can't lose. All right, the next side of the bracket. The next side of the bracket. Here we go. The next side of the bracket. All right.
I know for this one, a lot of Brazil fans will come at me for this one. I know a lot of them watching now and saying, Coach, why are you going at Brazil so hard?
Right.
But I think Brazil hasn't been the Brazil that we're used to. They still have quality and they have a quality coach, so people expect them to win. But I'm really impressed with this Japan team, and I think that can be a surprise.
All right, I'll tell you the coach. You go through all of them from top to bottom in this bracket, and then we'll ask Tyrone to do the same. And then we can compare who, if you agree on all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do it quick.
So just like Tyrone in that match against Portugal, I have this one going to penalties and Japan prevailing in that one. Surprisingly, I think we have Norway and Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is a team that I've been impressed with. Norway have firepower, but I have Cote d'Ivoire winning that one. Also, Mexico and Ecuador, two good teams. Again, Ecuador, very good in a lot of the moments of the game. They're very well coached. Once they can find some goals, I think they'll be a tough team to beat. Very hard one to call, but I'm also leaning to Ecuador in this game. England, DR Congo, not as straightforward as it might look on paper. Again, it will be a very low-scoring game, but I have England winning that one. Argentina, Cabo Verde, again, Argentina being my team. I think it's a team that will give them some challenge, but I think Argentina will prevail in that one. Austria, Egypt, another tight game, but I have Egypt winning that one. And then Algeria, Switzerland, I have.
Yes, it's Austria. It's actually Australia.
Austria.
With Egypt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have.
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
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 So I have Egypt actually prevailing in that one.
Yeah.
And Switzerland versus Algeria, I think Switzerland will win that one. And then Colombia, Ghana. Going to be a very tight game. Ghana is very well drilled defensively, but I really, really like the look of Colombia. I have them as a top 4 team, and I think they will prevail in that one.
All right, Tyrone, quickly, because we want to move on.
Yeah.
I think we have a fan.
Okay.
Give me your quick run through.
Yeah, Brazil move on. Norway will go through. Mexico, for me, will beat Ecuador. Obviously, England over Congo. I like Algeria to go past this, Switzerland, Ghana over Colombia, Egypt over Australia, and obviously Argentina over Cape Verde.
All right, there's very little to disagree. The tight ones, we're not getting into that. All right, so we open the lines, so I understand that we have a caller who wants to be part of our show for this evening. Hello? Hello? Is the caller hearing us? Hello? Not quite. I think we had. All right. All right. I can hear from here the phones going off in the production room. So let's give the caller a few more seconds to make his input, his or her input. Hello.
Hey, evening, Fan Central.
Wow, they sound like a very familiar voice, man. Hi, preacher.
Evening, Sir Higgins. Evening to Coach and to Tyrone.
Yes, man. We have limited time. What say you? Wow. Are you there, preacher? I'm not sure what's happening. All righty then. And it would be interesting to hear what preacher has to say. He's a well-known caller to local sports programs, and he doubles as a football analyst on at least one local radio program. So he wasn't going to come to that no rubbish. Would be interesting to hear him. Hello?
Yes, Sir Higgins. Can you hear me?
Boy, we are hearing you now. We hope the gremlins come off the line, because we will want to hear what you say. What say you?
I'm saying the coach's take on the Japan versus Brazil is an interesting one.
I really want to hear preacher.
What's happening? What's happening, guys? I'm not sure what's happening. Preacher like them goes to this particular line, you know.
Yeah.
He's a preacher we are talking to. In the name of Jesus, take on yourself for the man like. Get thee heads behind me, Satan.
Yeah.
I'll make the preacher say him for that man. All right, what do we do, guys? Do we move on or we're still trying to get preacher? All right, we'll move on. We may squeeze him or any other call at a little later stage. All right, with that then, you know, from time to time, we give you some stories that are reverberating around the World Cup. We'll have that section for you when we come back after this break.
Static.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Tune in to Lead Story. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are march up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it dark. Shine your lights
When the Lala go net fi full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bad a switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School them, silly billy. Now bad tell me boy your team and them na make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy.
All right, so normally there are some talks surrounding the World Cup that we want to bring on this stage. Now there's one that I want to talk about. We're party, is it Ghana? Ghana. And what's the name of the fellow who refused to shake his hand? Jed Spence of England. Now, Party has been accused of some rape charges, sexual something. That is before the courts. But it appeared, because the pictures when they come are a little inconclusive, that when the two teams meet and the shake and go on, Jed Spence appeared to have, shirked the handshake. Now some people say it was deliberate, and man, basically, if what it appears to be that men are shake the hand of no man who get accused for several different rape charges. Now, you can't look upon it either way, but remember, it is a charge, not a conviction. I don't know how you say about it, Coach, and I'm coming to you as well, Tyrone.
Football is a game that has always promoted respect, especially before the game. That handshake is a sign of respect.
Yeah.
As you rightfully said, the presumption of innocence is something that precedes all case. So until he is found guilty, I think it's a little bit premature. I don't know what his convictions were. He was the only one, or he's the only one that can come forward and say why he didn't, or what his convictions were. But it's sad to see something like this on the global stage.
Yeah. Your thing, Tyrone, if you had a player that refused to shake the hand of a player who was charged with a rape and thing, what would you be saying to your player who refused to shake the other hand of the other player. Tyrone?
You know, sign of respect. Ultimately, I can't advise the player, you know, their personal belief. You know, I don't want them to go against their personal belief. So if the player believes that, you know, I'm not going to do that, then I have to respect his decision. However, I would advise him, you know, out of the nature of the game and just the respect of each other to make sure they honor that particular situation. And again, if he believes that, you know, he goes against it, then I have to respect his belief as well.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Can FIFA charge a player for not doing the handshake when the two teams are meet and that little something there? That can a player be you know, can he be cited for anything and can pay? emergency patrol. Until then, big up on yourself. I also want to big up our two analysts, by the way. Big up to Davey and big up to Tyrone on Zoom. And thanks to all of you who took the time to watch. Until tomorrow, so long.
When the Lala gonna fi full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every